Tinubu recently featured on a list, the list of the most corrupt leaders in the world.
So let's talk about some of the fight against corruption.
So the system is actually brewing and brewing corruption.
The story of corruption in Nigeria is a never-ending one. People in power have been diverging public funds for as long as the country gained independence. So without wasting further time, let's look at Nigerian politicians who stole billions of naira. At number 10, we have Godwin Iweala. As the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Iweala wielded immense power over the country's financial system. For years, he was seen as the ultimate gatekeeper of Nigeria's economy until the gates came crashing down. Iweala now stands accused of diverting billions of naira into unauthorized foreign accounts. Investigators uncovered a mind-boggling 593 bank accounts alleged linked to him in countries like the US, UK, and China, where Nigerian funds were reportedly stashed. It doesn't stop there. Iweala allegedly breached Nigeria's procurement laws by awarding lucrative contracts to close associates, including deals of vehicles that raised more than a few eyebrows. One of the most explosive allegations involves the misuse of CBN's Ways and Means provision. Under his leadership, unauthorized advances totaling 26.27 trillion were allegedly handed to the federal government, far exceeding legal limits. This financial juggling act left many questioning how such an enormous sum could slip through the cracks. And then there is the mysterious cash withdrawal of $6.23 million in February 2023. The funds were supposedly for foreign election observation missions, but investigators claim the transaction was unauthorized and rigged or foul play. Adding to the list of his troubles, the court has ordered the forfeiture of 753 properties linked to Iweala in Abuja. Yes, 753 duplexes suspected to have been acquired with illicit funds. Iweala has since been arrested and is facing prosecution. Like Bello, he maintains his innocence and is currently battling the allegation in court. But with the sheer scale of accusations against him, it's hard not to wonder how once revered CBN governor found himself in such a financial pickle. At number 9, we have Ibrahim Magu. This fall from grace was particularly ironic, given that he once served as the acting chairman of Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), the very agency tasked with combating corruption. Appointed in 2015, Magu built a reputation for being tough on looters, recovering billions of stolen funds, and publicly shaming corrupt politicians.
You wouldn't even know because nobody would talk to you.
Does that suggest that all the people in the ruling party is clean?
Who will chase everybody? There is no sacred cow, not this time around. I'm telling you, we'll go after everybody, anybody who has committed an offense, who has stolen the resources of the state, who has stolen the resources of the common people of this country. I'm telling you, we'll chase them, we'll collect.
But by 2020, it became clear that the corruption hunter might have been hunting himself all along. Magu faced allegations of diverting recovered looted funds for personal gain, financing a lavish lifestyle that included extravagant travel expenses. The drama escalated when reports surfaced that Magu had illegally sold seized assets, including petrol-bearing trucks, at undervalued prices to close associates. These trucks were meant to serve as evidence or be auctioned transparently, but they were allegedly turned into a personal money-making scheme. The lack of transparency in managing recovered assets under Magu's watch raised eyebrows, with critics arguing that he ran the EFCC with a personal fail-down. In July 2020, the tables turned when Magu was arrested and suspended from his position to allow an unhindered investigation. A panel led by retired Justice Ayo Salami was set up to probe the allegations, making a dramatic twist in Magu's career. While the outcome of this investigation remains undisclosed, the mere fact that the head of Nigeria's anti-corruption agency was himself accused of corruption speaks volumes about the state of accountability in the country. No formal charges have been filed, leaving Nigerians to wonder if Magu's story will end with justice or yet another unresolved scandal. At number 6, we have AbdulRasheed B, another former EFCC chairman who came into the spotlight with great promise, quickly found himself himself mired in controversy. Bawa made headlines in 2021 as the youngest EFCC chairman in history, bringing a fresh face to Nigeria's anti-corruption efforts. However, his tenure was short-lived and turbulent, marked by allegations that he misused his position for personal gain. Back in 2020, before assuming the EFCC chairmanship, reports emerged accusing Bawa of illegally selling dozens of petrol-bearing trucks confiscated from suspected looters. The vehicles were allegedly auctioned off at undervalued prices of associates, a claim Bawa vehemently denied during his Senate confirmation hearing, but the allegations didn't stop haunting him. In June 2023, President Bola Tinubu suspended Bawa indefinitely, citing weighty allegations of abuse of office. Though the specifics weren't publicly disclosed, the suspension raised red flags about how he managed the EFCC during his tenure. Soon after, the Department of State Services (DSS) detained Bawa, keeping him in custody for a staggering 134 days before releasing him in October 2023.
Heated reactions because this video has gone viral. How it is that he was
The DSS offered no detailed explanation for his prolonged detention, quelling speculation about what really happened during his time in office. Adding to his troubles, former Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawale accused Bawa of demanding a $2 million bribe, a claim that the EFCC dismissed as a distraction from Matawale's own 70 billion naira fraud investigation. As of December 2024, Bawa remains uncharged in court, leaving a cloud of uncertainty over his career and reputation. Next up at number 7 is Dezani Alison Madueke, the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, whose name became synonymous with corruption on an almost cinematic scale. Between 2010 and 2015, she allegedly mismanaged and outright embezzled billions of Nigeria's oil wealth. Imagine this: properties, luxury cars, designer goods, and even an $80 million yacht. It's not a Hollywood heist, it's Dezani's legacy. By 2023, her antics caught up with her in the UK, where the National Crime Agency slapped her with bribery charges. The drama didn't stop there. US authorities seized over $145 million in assets linked to her schemes, including a jaw-dropping $50 million apartment in New York. Nigerian courts weren't playing either, issuing warrants, confiscating properties, and pressing for her extradition. Dezani, meanwhile, remains in the UK, electronically tagged like a character in a crime thriller, awaiting her next court date in 2025. Her story reads like a textbook example on how not to handle public office.
For her son, private planes, air tickets, and goods from high-end stores like Harrods, Cartier, and Louis Vuitton.
At number 6, we have Basi Albert Akan, a senator with a penchant for luxury cars and shady deals. During his time as Akwa Ibom's Commissioner for Finance, Akpan allegedly accepted bribes in the form of vehicles worth 240 million naira from companies angling for lucrative contracts. The scandal blew up in December 2022 when a federal high court found him guilty of money laundering. The sentence was a staggering 42 years in prison, but Akpan wasn't ready to give up. He appealed, only for the Court of Appeal to slightly tweak his punishment by adding an option to pay a fine and return the 240 million naira. Still, the political fallout was severe, effectively ending his dream of becoming Akwa Ibom's governor. A stark reminder that greed, no matter how well disguised, eventually leads to downfall. Next up at number 3 is Ahmed Idris, the former Accountant General of Nigeria, who allegedly diverted over 109 billion naira. You read that right. Billions. His audacity was unmatched. Between February and December 2021, he reportedly accepted 15.1 billion to facilitate oil-producing states' payments. But wait, there is more. Investigators claim he funneled 84.3 billion naira through bogus contracts, with the money conveniently landing in the hands of his associates. Arrested in May 2022, Idris has since been embroiled in legal battles, with every hearing unraveling new layers of his alleged misconduct. Despite video evidence and mountains of paperwork against him, Idris has pleaded not guilty, pleading to claims of coercion in his confessions. As of late 2024, his trial continues, keeping Nigerians on edge for the next chapter of this saga. Number 4, we have Sambo Dasuki, the former national security advisor who found himself the center of a $2 billion scandal. This money, earmarked for arms procurement to combat the Boko Haram insurgents, was allegedly rerouted to private accounts and distributed among political allies. Imagine the sheer audacity of diverting funds meant to equip soldiers, risking their lives on the front lines. The details are jaw-dropping. One family friend pocketed a cool 270 million naira for vague consulting services, and billions more disappeared into thin air. Arrested in December 2015, Dasuki faced multiple charges, including money laundering and illegal possession of firearms. Yes, nearly a decade later, his legal battle will drag on, a grim reminder of how the wheels of justice often turn painfully slowly in Nigeria. At number 3, we have James Ibori, the former governor of Delta State, who took corruption to international levels in arguably one of the biggest corruption cases any country has ever witnessed. Ibori's saga was big. He was accused of embezzling a mind-boggling $250 million using a web of offshore companies to launder the money. The man lived large, acquiring properties like a $2.2 million Hampstead home and a $3.3 million mansion in South Africa, alongside a fleet of luxury cars, including a Maybach 62. But Ibori's downfall began when UK authorities found incriminating evidence hidden behind a fireplace. His associates, including his wife and sisters, were also implicated, with some serving jail time. After fleeing to Dubai in 2010 to evade Nigerian authorities, Ibori was arrested and extradited to the UK. In 2012, he pleaded guilty to 10 counts of money laundering and conspiracy to defraud, earning him a 13-year prison sentence. The spectacle of his conviction was a sobering moment, highlighting how stolen funds deprived millions of Nigerians of essential services.
He pleaded guilty to 10 counts of money laundering and conspiracy to defraud at Suffolk Crown Court, London, and in April of 2012, he was sentenced to 13 years imprisonment, but was later released in 2016 after serving just 4 years behind bars.
Next up at number 2 is Ibrahim Okoa, the former governor of Delta State and former vice presidential candidate. He was often hailed as a visionary leader during his two-term tenure from 2015 to 2023. He led one of Nigeria's wealthiest oil-producing states, and his administration promised transformative projects and infrastructure development. However, by the time he left office, whispers of financial misconduct had grown into deafening accusations. Okoa is alleged to have misappropriated a jaw-dropping 1.3 trillion in state funds. Critics have pointed out that while Delta State oil revenues soared during his tenure, the corresponding development was nowhere to be found. One of the more damning allegations involved his use of 40 billion naira in public funds to acquire an 8% equity stake in UTM floating LNG, a deal many said was far from transparent. But the accusation don't stop there. Okoa has been linked to purchasing extravagant properties in Abuja and Asaba, allegedly using state sources to fund his real estate spree. He also faced severe backlash for awarding the state-owned bus company to a company ally at a fraction of what a competing bid had offered, raising questions about favoritism and misuse of power. An audit of his administration unearthed irregular expenditures across various ministries, with millions of naira left unaccounted for. By 2024, the FCC had arrested Okoa and investigations into his activities were underway. As of now, the court are still determining whether Okoa will face formal charges. What's clear though is that his legacy is now shadowed by scandal, leaving many Deltas wondering where all that money really went.
I'm not afraid of the media trial because the truth will come out. Neither am I afraid of the investigation because I know that we did the best we could within the limits of human ability, and I'm confident that by the special grace of God, our government is set out in the best interest of the people and we did things according to law.
Finally, at number 1, we have Yahaya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State. During his time in office, he carried himself with an air of defiance and confidence. Known for his controversial policies and bold public statements, Bello always seemed to bask in the limelight. But behind the scene, things were far less glamorous. In November 2024, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) dropped a legal bombshell on Bello, slapping him with a 16-count charge that made headlines nationwide. They accused him of diverting a staggering 110 billion naira during his tenure. The charges ranged from criminal breach of trust to money laundering, and it wasn't long before Bello found himself detained by the EFCC. True to his combative nature, he pleaded not guilty and managed to secure bail, but the damage to his reputation was already done.
Tell us, has the former governor of Kogi State been arrested?
Yes, he was arrested today around 12:54 p.m. and together with 3 of his lawyers. He's having a session with our investigators and he's in our custody.
Earlier in the year, the EFCC had declared Bello wanted over another alleged fraud case, this time involving 80.2 billion naira. The accusations painted a grim picture of how state funds were allegedly mismanaged, including money laundering schemes and blatant misappropriation of public resources. One of the most eyebrow-raising moments came in 2021 when Bello's administration allocated billions for countermeasures despite his public stance that COVID-19 was a hoax. Critics quickly pointed out the hypocrisy and questioned where the money actually went. That same year, the court froze an account containing 20 billion naira meant for salary payments after the EFCC alleged it wasn't being used for its intended purpose. This scandal has placed Bello at the center of multiple legal battles, with his political legacy hanging in the balance. So if you enjoyed this video, kindly click on the subscribe button and like, a link on the end screen on your left to watch 10 women accused of stealing Nigerian funds.